Good morning, everybody. This is Rudy. I wanted to read an email that came in this morning from Schaeffer Cox regarding his own lawyer's argument that he was mentally ill. First, let me say that I'm very familiar with the subject of mental illness. I have two brothers that were destroyed by drugs. One of them has died from brain cancer. His name was Robert. And Robert messed his life up on drugs. He started when he was about a senior in high school, and his life he spent in various institutions, and my dad had to take care of Robert. It was a full-time job because Robert didn't have the mental capacity to take care of himself or lead a normal life. Since my dad has passed away, I'm now the legal guardian for my other brother, Ronnie. And Ronnie is in a halfway house, and he messed his life up on drugs as well. So I'm very familiar with what mental illness looks like and the destruction that it brings. And I can tell you that Schaeffer Cox is not mentally ill. But let's read what Schaeffer has to say. He titles the subject of his email, Holy Government. Schaeffer goes on to write, Rudy, as you read the sentencing memo by Mr. Camille, remember that I totally disagreed with him claiming I was mentally ill. My position was that I was in fear for my life because Fulton, Benedict Arnold Bill Fulton, made a credible threat to kill me if I didn't get on board with his violent agenda. That does not make me crazy. It makes me normal and honest and moral and peaceful. My letter to Fairbanks Press has a good section on this. Just like Rome worshipped the emperor as divine, the federal government is a religion to its followers, and they must always guard the myth of the inerrant system and the infallible officers thereof. Camille was trying to do this because the government is his religion, but it came across contradictory because he was more or less saying, Cox is mentally ill. That's why he thought Fulton was trying. Let me start over. Cox is mentally ill. That's why he thought Fulton, Benedict Arnold Bill Fulton, was threatening to kill him. Don't worry. We would never imply that the Holy Government did something out of line, like using death threats from Benedict Arnold Bill Fulton, and then lying about it to the jury. We all know that if Cox does not worship the Holy Government, it's not really his fault because he's mentally ill. So he doesn't really need a life sentence. And by the way, just as a side note, Benedict Arnold Bill Fulton did actually make death threat ultimatums and attack people with a hunting knife. And Cox told the truth at trial and really was trying to leave the country to avoid Benedict Arnold Bill Fulton's crimes. But that's no excuse for his apostate refusal to worship the Holy Government. That's due to a mental illness, and he should not be held responsible for it. It's not his fault that he's too crazy to worship Tsar. This commitment to never blaspheme the government is shared by all attorneys I know except for Robert John. Mira Sun's appeal brief boiled down to, the court should not have let the jury hear what a bad person Cox was, because they made it harder for them to objectively determine if he was guilty or not. It trashed me up one side and down the other, and never said a word about the Holy Government's glaring sins. You can't get justice without telling the truth, and you can't tell the truth without making the Holy Government look bad. This is the fundamental impasse. Schaeffer. You know, I want to say that I absolutely agree. All of the lawyers that I've ran into, they're cowards when it comes to holding the judges responsible. For instance, when Judge Margaret Casey Rogers, when Ken Hovind was having his trial, the lawyers, they just dare not say anything bad about what's going on from the judge, or, to upset the judge, or to say anything bad about the government or the way the system is rigged. if you question the IRS or the way the system is rigged, for instance, who's that IRS agent, Scott Schneider? He got to sit with the prosecutors. I mean, what's up with that? You know, the whole thing is just absolutely absurd. The system is rigged, and if the lawyers say anything about it, they just seem like they're cowards, and they never do say anything about it. But anyway, I wanted to read Schaeffer's email to you this morning, and I think Schaeffer's absolutely right in the fact that the lawyer had to argue that he's mentally ill because we know that the government never does anything wrong, right?